Hello guys, and welcome back to another vlog. So thank you to those of you who watched last week's vlog where I told my story about my businesses, the journey that I went on, and what happened to those businesses as they came to an end. So in this week's vlog then, I'm going to go deeper into that transition period of when the businesses closed and I was actively searching for work, and the job that actually came through and saved me. It saved me financially, it saved me from my mental health and well-being perspective, and it also helped me build my confidence. So I currently work in a business consultancy role working with community enterprises. So my role is predominantly based around working with community businesses and businesses that have a real social and ethical impact within their communities. So the role really is a mentoring role, a consultancy role, and a role that supports social entrepreneurs with their business journeys. Now, similar to last week's vlog, I've got some notes set up here so we can stay on track. So I do apologize if I look down every so often at my notes in order to keep us on track. So let's go all the way back then to August 2019, when I had closed both businesses. I'd taken the really difficult decision and followed that process through. And in the previous log, if you've watched it, I explain where I was with my mental health, where I was, with my physical health, and also where I was financially. And that was absolute rock bottom. So all of that put together then meant that my confidence really did hit an all-time low. Now, I'd always had a dream to work in a job that allowed me to work with people and to help people. Ideally, I wanted to work in a business development role. So the role that I'm in today was perfect for that. It allowed me to be a kind of business mentor, to work with communities and those businesses that are rooted within the community. And I suppose that was one of the reasons I was drawn to the job, because I wanted to make that positive impact and that positive difference in these community businesses and be really the small cog in the big wheel, ensuring that things were being done correctly and that the support was there for these community ventures. So when I started the job, I was rock bottom financially. I was rock bottom with my mental health, and also my confidence in taking a real hit, because when I went into the start of my businesses 3 years previous to that, so that would have been summer 2016, I had very high levels of confidence because I had a true vision that I was going to be able to make these businesses work, and it was going to be my forever home. The cookery school, like I mentioned in the previous vlog, was my baby. It was supposed to be my forever business. It was supposed to be the business that gave me the ultimate success. And it was supposed to be the business that created a stepping stone to build other things from. So naturally, none of that really happened after 3 years of hard graft. So my confidence did take a big hit. And I can remember when I started this consultancy role, I was very much lacking in real confidence and people skills, being able to put myself forward in kind of mentoring situations or training situations. I found that bit quite difficult. So I knew that I had a journey that I needed to go on to rebuild that confidence and match the pace that these business owners needed from me as a consultant. So that was the first kind of hurdle for me in the role. Now, I found this job through looking at different aspects of consultancy roles and different kind of training roles, and that's how I came across the job. And when I first read the advert, I thought, oh, this sounds quite a nice little role, and it could be something that I could do really well. Using a lot of my experiences were negative because the businesses didn't succeed to the point where I'd anticipated and planned for. So I felt like I had a lot to give back to people and a lot to give back to businesses and a lot to give back to communities. So what I expected the role to be was to be very much a hands-on mentoring role. So working within the business, working with entrepreneurs, supporting them on their startup journey, advising them on the correct kind of protocols, advising them on kind of registration processes. And that's what the job actually turned out to be, very much so day to day. That's a lot of my role. There are different aspects to the role, obviously. It's a publicly funded role, so we do have to meet those demands within that kind of funding space. So the turning points in the role then, and what helped me to rebuild that confidence and to lift me really from that rock bottom phase. Now, it took me a fair while, I would say at least 18 months into the role before I started to find my confidence and be able to move forward with developing new ideas and delivering new services within the role. So the turning point for me was when a client I had been working with for about 6 months, we'd gone through the whole journey from, they came to me with an idea on a piece of A4 paper, and we'd gone from that A4 paper straight through to registration, straight through to trading, and they just employed their first person. So they'd been on quite a journey. There were some momentous achievements for them in the business. And I can remember them sending some feedback back in about the service that they'd had from me. And it was a glowing report. The client had stated how my service had changed the way that they'd looked at the business, had really helped them, had made them realize that they could actually do it. So that was the turning point for me, really, when the client's expectations were being met and they were feeding back some really positive things. And I suppose I used that positivity then into building my confidence and building myself within the role. Now, I've been in this role now for 5.5 years, so that's a considerable amount of time. And I would say my confidence now is at the highest point that it's been when it comes to service delivery and forward-facing client work. Where I would probably say that I still struggle is with my mental health. There have been some significant things happening over the last 5 years in the world, which has changed the way we work and has changed the way that we do things. So that has ultimately had a negative effect and probably a further deepening effect on my mental health. So I would say there's still a lot of work to be done there, but my confidence is greatly improved by going through the process with the clients, so walking them through the journey. So I'm going through that journey with them, and I take that positivity and the negativity as well. I take all of that on board and use that to build my confidence through that kind of positivity. So just looking back down at my notes, what has this job done for me? So financially, obviously, it's a well-paid role. So financially, it has given me a nice, stable platform to be able to build a different life, because this trajectory isn't or wasn't the path that I was hoping to go on. So financially, that has been kind of reflected in this path. So this role has allowed me at least to have some form of stability financially, and has brought me out of those dark areas, like I said in my previous vlog, where I was down to my last £5, for example. Thankfully, over the last 5.5 years, I have never been at that point. So that is that's a great improvement. My mental health, where I am now, is a lot better to where I was 6 years ago, but I still have my struggles and I still have my challenges with anxiety. That's probably one of my biggest weak points now, I would say, in my mental health journey. But that's going to be a conversation within another vlog. I think I'm going to do a whole series on mental health and mental health in business later on this year on the channel. So if you've come here to hear more about that, then please do subscribe, like this video, and stick around, because I will be doing a lot more vlogs on mental health and anxiety within business. Confidence and emotion, then, what has the job done for me? Well, it has definitely built my confidence. It has definitely allowed me to carve myself out as a dedicated consultant for businesses. It has allowed me to build a name for myself locally with the businesses that I work with, and that has been able to kind of build my emotion and be able to build my confidence, really, in being able to deliver high quality business consultancy services. And I would say that's probably one of the key things that has happened really in the last sort of 5.5 years. And with that in mind, then it has helped me to believe in myself again. When I started this role 5.5 years ago, I didn't really believe that I could do it. I didn't really believe what I could do, because the journey, the last 18 months of being in business was such a turbulent journey that, I did hit rock bottom. Everything hit rock bottom, and it was difficult to be able to find that belief again that I could do something, because obviously the trajectory or the path that I've gone on over the last 5.5 years isn't what I planned. It was not the plan. It was not what I was supposed to be doing. So that took a big hit. It took a long time for me to realize that and be able to almost find myself again within a professional role. And yeah, so that confidence now has built to a point where, I do feel very confident in delivering these services. And that's what's fed into the bigger vision. So, I'm now, as I say, 5.5 years into the role. So I do have a bigger vision for me outside of this role. Obviously, I'm not going to give too much away, because there's some developments going on that are going to move forward over the next 12 to 18 months outside of the role. There'll be more information and more kind of updates on that as this channel develops and grows, hopefully. But the connection between this job and what's coming next has been a real bridge builder, really. It's going to be something that is there to help entrepreneurs, but also help people in the community, help them realize their kind of dream and ambition, and potentially set them on their way with that idea. So there's been a real connection between the work that I do now and what will come in the future. It's been invaluable, really, for me to be able to build the bridges between these two different projects. So now that I'm 5.5 years in, I'm in a better place with confidence, and a better place financially, and a slightly better place with my mental health as well. What would I tell my past self at my lowest point? Well, if anybody is at the point where their business has come to an end, or their career is changing, or there's been changes in your workplace or your work role, and you've come to this vlog when you're at that kind of lowest point, what I would say to you is, don't lose hope. You have to keep on going. And I know it's hard. I've been there, and I know what those feelings are like, and I know what that process is like to go through. But please, don't give up. Keep on trying. You have to work your way through the rejections. I think in the last vlog I spoke about my 26 or 27 rejections before I got this job. That was a tremendous amount of rejections, but I kept on going. Is finding that grit and determination really to push through and to be able to keep believing in yourself, and finding what it is you want to do. Because there was one thing at the end of those 3 years of business that I had lost myself, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, what I was supposed to do, and where I was supposed to be going. So always keep in tune to your needs, your professional and your personal needs, your development needs, and what you want from a job. And you may be watching this vlog and thinking, well, it's not a job that I do want. I want to remain in business. And if that is the conversation, then do stick around on this channel. Do subscribe and do like this video, because that does help us out. But there will be another series coming on later on this year about the journey in business and how to develop the resilience that's needed to keep on going, and the diversification in business to secure the future of a business. So there will be a series coming about those areas of work as well. So just looking down at my notes again, I do apologize if you see the top of my head every so often. And I just want to give encouragement to you, the viewers. If you're feeling stuck or unsure, in a similar position to where I was 5.5 years ago, if you're unsure about what you want to do in your business, or you're at maybe a turning point in your career, and you're at a low point and you're unsure, it's just about finding that ambition again, isn't it? And keeping that ambition alive and keeping the dream alive, and also digging deep. When the days are tough, it's about digging deep and finding that kind of resilience within you to keep on going, because you're working towards something better, which is ultimately going to pull you out of these low kind of areas. So final reflection, and as I draw this vlog to a close, it's immense gratitude really for the job that I'm in. I am so grateful to the people who gave me this opportunity, and who gave me the opportunity to go into this role, because when I started in this role 5.5 years ago, I probably wasn't the most experienced business consultant on the interviewing list. I probably, wasn't the most favoured candidate, shall we say. So for that, I am eternally grateful to the people who gave me the role and who gave me the opportunity. And, here we are, sort of 5.5 years down the line, with some great successes behind us. And it has really made me who I am now, and has, kind of propelled me into this position that I am in now. Because had it have probably not been for this role, I would have been in a very different place, I think. And, there's lots of kind of positives to talk about when you surround yourself with business people, especially if you're aspiring with ambition and you want to do something else in the future. Then this is a good place to be, because being around other business owners and having those conversations and fueling other people's ideas and businesses and ambition does us ultimately rub off on you and fuels your ambition and ideas. So yeah, it's just that gratitude for being able to remain in this kind of business circle, just in a different way. So that brings this week's vlog to an end then. I just want to thank you all for viewing the videos so far, especially last week's. That was a tough vlog to put together. I know it was quite a long one and there's a lot of information in there. I would like to next week start talking a bit more in detail about the business journey that I went on, and what I got out of that, really, in terms of business skills and the development that it did for me personally, and what that then means onto future developments, which I'll hopefully shed a bit more light on in the next vlog. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. And if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, because that does really help me out. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon, and take care.